Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, police investigating death of cop's daughter. Senior police investigators were on a scene in Prospect, St. Thomas, where the teenage daughter of a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force was allegedly chopped to death by a man believed to be of unsound mind on Wednesday afternoon. The teen, identified as Tiana Sutherland, said to be about 14 years old, came into the island days ago for her summer vacation. It is not known what caused the incident, but residents say a man was seen running from the scene in bloody clothes. During a search of the area, residents found Tiana lying in blood. She was rushed to hospital where she was pronounced dead. Rum Lane fire victims living in limbo 2 years later, but the MP says the land ownership issue at the heart of the delay. Almost 2 years ago, after their houses went up in flames in a fire believed to be set by arsonists, several residents on Rum Lane in central Kingston claimed that they are still awaiting the promised help to rebuild. In the immediate aftermath of the fire, which destroyed houses at 33, 33 and a quarter, and 33 and a half Rum Lane, 7 families totaling approximately 30 people, including children, were left homeless. Representatives of government and private entities visited that area and declared their commitment to help the residents get back on their feet. But when the news visited the area on Monday, some of the victims declared that they were living in limbo. One of the victims, Moisha Marsh, claimed her family and others have received no help since the blaze. The people who live on the land are now scattered all over the place, but me, my baby father, my children, my mother-in-law, brother-in-law, and his baby mother, with their 2 kids, still live here at 33 and a half Rum Lane. We built up a board house and we did it out of our pockets, just to have a little roof over our heads, said Marsh. I have 2 children, the baby who is 2 years old today, and my son who is going to be 5 years old later this year. Most of the other people who lived here and were burned out have turned the squatters on other people's property in the community because they have nowhere to go, added Marsh. She claimed that unlike others, she had no option but to find a way to construct a wooden dwelling, which is not ideal but better than living outside with her family and exposed to the elements of weather. Life is rough. I lost my test classes in the fire, furniture, children's clothes and uniform. I don't have anything, said Marsh as she told the news that with her glasses destroyed in the fire, she has struggled to see properly for almost 2 years. In the meantime, the father of Marsh's 2 children, who asked not to be named, said while their living condition was not perfect before the fire, it was far better than today. It's kind of hard for me. Before, life was better. Everybody was here. My mother moved out not too far from here. She's staying with relatives. Last hurricane season, rain came in on us, and we are in another hurricane season. Our house top is still leaking. We got no help other than the little documents for the children, like their birth certificates, claimed the man. Another resident pointed out that Prime Minister Andrew Holness visited them in the wake of the fire and promised that the people who were displaced would receive assistance. She alleged that, to date, they have received little assistance to help them get back on their feet. The Prime Minister and his team came down here, but all they gave the people were some daytime pull-up beds. The people didn't get any board or anything to build back their houses, the woman claimed. But a member of parliament for the area, Donovan Williams, on Wednesday told the news that while representatives of state agencies visited that area and did an assessment after the fire, people who said they are legal owners posted a no trespassing sign. We cleared the debris among other measures and provided first response aid. We assisted as far as we could and are amenable to exploring further ways in which we may assist, despite the challenges, said Williams. According to Williams, the Housing Agency of Jamaica has identified the properties in the community to assist with social housing, and the plan is to assist the Rum Lane victims as a priority. In the meantime, residents of the area pointed out that national netballer Latanya Wilson, who was one of the victims of the fire, had been promised help and based on media reports, it appears this was delivered. Weeks after the blaze, Jamaica Information Service reported that Wilson had been given the keys and the documents for a new house outside of the community. The JIS report said construction of the house for Wilson was facilitated by the National Housing Trust. Wilson had told the news that she lost almost everything in the blaze, including a bronze medal she won with the Sunshine Girls at the Netball World Tournament in August 2023. I have several different emotions. I am sad, but I am more so grateful that I still have life. It is always a privilege to represent my country, myself, and my family. The joy from that is unexplainable. This just goes to show that you can be at your highest point in life, and the next moment you are at your lowest, Wilson told the news at the time. Owner shot dead at a bar in Olympic Gardens. The St. Andrew South police are investigating the shooting death of a man at his bar in Olympic Gardens on Tuesday night. Dead is 50-year-old Anthony Morgan, otherwise called Mutu, of Smith Lane in the area. Reports are that about 8 o'clock, Morgan was at his establishment when he was pounced upon by unknown assailants in a motor car who shot him. He was assisted to the Kingston Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. No motive has been established for Morgan's murder. 2 St. Catherine councillors fined $250,000 for failure to file statutory declarations. 2 of the 3 councillors from the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation who were charged with a failure to file statutory declarations were each fined $250,000 when they appeared in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court on Monday. The People's National Party's Van Rick Preddy from the Hillshire Division and the PNP's Dwight Burke, who represents the Sligoville Division, were fined after they pleaded guilty. Jamaica Labour Party's councillor for the Twickenham Park Division, Donovan Guy, pleaded not guilty to 4 counts of failure to submit a statutory declaration. Mr. Guy's attorney, Donahue Martin, who received the disclosure, sought an adjournment to take additional instructions from his client. The councillor is to return to court on October 14. Acting Director of Corruption Prosecution at the Integrity Commission, Ronnie Florence, ruled last month that the 3 councillors should be charged for failure to file statutory declarations. The breach falls under Section 43(1)(a) of the Integrity Commission Act. Mr. Burke was cited for failing to submit his statutory declaration for 2022 by the due date. Mr. Guy allegedly failed to do over a 4-year period from 2019 to 2022, and Mr. Preddy for the years 2019, 2021, and 2022. The IC's Director of Investigations, Kevin Stevenson, in his report, said the councillors failed to provide a reasonable cause for not filing their declarations on time. Mr. Stevenson said all were given the opportunity to discharge a liability and by paying the fixed penalty and submitting the outstanding statutory declarations, but there was only one partial compliance, as while the required statutory declarations were eventually submitted, the councillors failed to pay the fixed penalty. Therefore, Mr. Stevenson said they were found to have failed to discharge their liabilities consistent with Section 43(3) of the Integrity Commission Act. JPS workers uneasy about a decision on company's license, but customers happy. The Union of Clerical, Administrative and Supervisory Employees, which represents workers at the Jamaica Public Service Company, is raising concern about the announcement by the government that it will not renew the license of the power company when it expires in 2027. The government says renewing the all-island electricity license for the JPS under the current terms would place the country at a disadvantage. Speaking with the news, UK's President Vincent Morrison said the announcement is causing jitters among JPS workers.
We have some concerns. We are going to call a delegates meeting where the matter can be discussed fully. but we have some immediate concerns. We think the statement is very wide. There are more needs to be clarified. Is this going to be a government takeover? Is this a policy of the government going forward, taking over business? So we believe that a meeting with not only the management of JPS, but a meeting with the minister is absolutely important going forward. There's too many questions that are needed to be answered. Jobs are very important going forward, and a lot of workers are employed to the Jamaica Public Service. And, we would want to know exactly what is the final position of government going forward in this matter. We think the announcement and how it was done is very bad for industrial relations. It's bad for business, as I said earlier, because we can't give the impression, and I don't think the government should be given the impression, that this is their new policy as it relates to private investment. Or you're going to just, what is very important is what is happening at Petrodrum, because, Petrodrum is having serious problems, and, we have to be very careful because jobs are very important.
President and the CEO of the JPS, Hugh Grant, has expressed a concern at the government's announcement. Mr. Grant has said the development has several implications for the energy sector and for the country in general. He added that the JPS leadership, stakeholders and the legal teams will review the implications while engaging key stakeholders. The wider business community has welcomed the government's decision, but energy consultant Owen Gunning, president of the Jamaica Society of Energy Engineers, believes it is not feasible for the government to take over the license of the JPS. And as the government weighs its option, one energy consultant believes a revenue cap and a financial buffer should feature heavily in upcoming negotiations for a new power distribution license. President and the Chief Executive Officer of the Jamaica Energy Partners Group and the Country Manager for InterEnergy, Dr. Wayne McKenzie, believes that this will help to shield the customers from the kind of losses suffered under the current terms.
The issue of revenue cap is something that was done recently, like 2014, I think. Companies ought to use whatever strategies they have to create value. So the leverage, the leverage that JPS have in terms of how much debt they can have on the company is something I believe anybody who's going to be operating the company need to change. I think the leverage could change. The losses, I don't think we should be transitioning losses to the ratepayer. And whatever they do to fix it comes bottom line cash to the company as well.
Despite not knowing which power company will replace JPS, some customers are welcoming the government's decision, citing years of frustration and dissatisfaction with the country's main power provider.
Jamaican people is suffering a long time, so it's no problem for us to get a different light power company, because light bill we are paying is very too high. When we get our pay, all they can pay the light bill wasn't for us, it was for somebody else. So if we can get a change, it will be very good for us.
For years we have been complaining about JPS and the cost of energy. So if it is that they are going to be renegotiating a new license, hopefully it's for a more favorable rate for the Jamaican consumers.
They're working from solar energy. So how is it that level of innovative thinking has not gone down to the consumer?
Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.